Here are 5 tips for creating an effective flipped video lesson. Tip number 1, take time to teach students how to watch the video. So you don't want your students just to sit there and passively observe. We do that all day. The kids are doing that on YouTube, on Snapchat, on all their different social media. So you want them to actually learn from your video. So you need to decide before you even start recording, how do you want the students to interact with the video? Do you want them to take notes? Do you want them to post to a discussion board? Do you want them just to ask questions? Do you want assessment questions? And this could depend on where you are in the unit to decide what kind of interaction you want to take place. Another key item to taking time to teach the students how to watch the video is that you actually do need to train them how to watch the video. I have a little sample sequence of events for high school students. So day 1, you all watch the video together at the same time, and one person is the DJ who is pressing stop and play based on whatever they feel they need. And so the students are going to start to get frustrated because they're going to try to take notes and it's going to be moving too fast, or they're not going to be able to hear, they can't pause for themselves. So that can start an interesting discussion of, what are those items at the bottom of your video and what can they do to better pay attention to the video. Day 2, you can teach the students how to press play, how to press stop and pause, and what your expectations are with taking notes or with answering questions. So do you want them to do Cornell notes, and what does that look like, kind of a thing. And then day 3 through 5, I would recommend that teachers watch the students watch the video. So you can walk around and say, hey, I noticed that you're not pausing and you're not finishing your notes, or I'm noticing that you are rewinding and going back and rewatching. I really like that. So giving them that feedback that they need while watching the video is important before you just send them on their way to watch at home. Tip number 2, if students didn't watch the video, don't rescue them. Don't let them think it's okay to not watch the video. So that not only hurts that student who didn't watch the video, but then also the rest of your students, because they're going to say, oh, well, Bobby got to watch the video in class, or Bobby got to still do everything even though he didn't watch the video. So just don't even let that be an option. Individual accountability is important. So if a student does not watch the video, then don't give them full credit. Allow them to watch the video in class if they can't, but then they won't be able to participate in the class activities. So there needs to be some kind of discomfort for the student. You can use quizzing and interactive tools to help for you to know if students watch the video. This can also be used for data. For your kind of formative assessment, did they get it? Did they not get it? I've talked to teachers who use the quizzes to help them decide, okay, this is how long I need to spend on this content, or I can skip over this completely. Tip number 3, the length of the video should be short. I can already tell this one is going to be a little bit longer than what I would like. So what I could do is break this down into different, like each tip is its own video to make it a little bit shorter. That way it's more manageable for students to rewatch. A lot changes for kids in the span of 10 minutes. Their Facebook wall or their Twitter feed is filling up with things. So the likelihood that they'll watch your 15-minute video, 20-minute video again is not very likely, but the likelihood that they would say, oh, well, I can watch a 2-minute video, or I can watch a 7-minute video, that's no big deal, is a lot more reasonable. So some ideas for that is stick to one topic per video. There are some rules for lengths of videos, and you can choose whichever one works for your students the best. 1 to 1.5 minutes per grade level. So if they're in 5th grade, keep it to 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Or another rule is that you could do the age of the student and then add 1 minute. So for the 10th graders who are 16, maybe they can handle a 17-minute video. Again, that's getting a little bit long, but you know your students better than this rule does. These rules kind of remind me of timeout and how you don't stick little kids in timeout for longer than their age because they just don't get it after a while. So keep that in mind. Keep the video short. Tip number 4, make your own videos. Just because you're having videos in class doesn't mean that your relationship or your role in the classroom is minimized. In fact, I think it's more important. So you are allowing for the relationships to occur in the classroom because you're not lecturing to all of the students. You're able to have that input with individual students during class instead of just the whole preaching to the choir. So the kids really do like hearing your voice, and on all of the websites and blogs that I've seen, the kids do like watching your videos, even if they aren't professional grade. Like, this is not a wonderful professional product. But you can establish a relationship because you can laugh about, oh yeah, here's what you can do instead of that to make it look better, or even have a kid record your presentation for you. Help give them that job. Some benefits are you teach the content the way that you want it to be taught. You could spend hours searching YouTube for a presentation on whatever concept you're teaching that you like, and then you realize, oh my gosh, that took way too long. I could have just taught it myself. So just teach it yourself. They value you making your content and putting yourself out there. You can use other resources. So you can find some other videos from other teachers who are teaching the same thing, but you should be the main teacher because you are the teacher. You can use tools like Screencastify, which is what I'm using right now, Screencast-O-Matic, YouTube, Google Hangouts, Camtasia, there's Snagit, EDU Creations, there's a whole bunch of them. So you find whatever works for you, and some are free and some are paid depending on what kind of features you want to use. The last tip is that the students need to be doing something with the learning. This kind of goes back to tip number 1, that you want them to actually interact with the video. So what is it that you want the kids to do? You can actually say that in the video, like pause the video right now and answer the question, or pause the video and comment on what I just said. Answer the question, so on. You are the content expert. So what is it that the kids need to do in your class with the information that's going to help their learning? You can use tools that force the pause and then force that student interaction. So you could do that as kind of an assessment. Some examples of these types of assessments are you could use a Google form, Edpuzzle and Educanon. I'm using Edpuzzle, as you can tell, to stop and ask you questions. Educanon does the same type of thing. Zaption does that same type of interaction. Quizlet Video Notes is a website that kids can take notes right alongside watching the video, and then it timestamps those notes, so that's kind of cool. Or do you want some kind of discussion forum or Padlet wall where they can post their ideas? It also doesn't have to be techie related. They could just use their notes pages in their notebook. So here are some resources that you can use and that I use to create this presentation, especially this John Bergman. He's a great resource. Hope you learned a lot. Thanks.